talk about KL.
Okay,
Alright.
lovely.
I heard that before you chose KL, Selangor also come and offer to you, right?
Yes.
So why don't you choose? Why didn't you choose Selangor?
Okay. I'm gonna say first because last time I said this online, I didn't mean to offend anybody. So obviously, Selangor has a lot of players that I admire a lot and I like a lot. Huge club, everybody knows who they are, and it was no disrespect to them. When they called, I was so happy. I was looking at apartments to rent. I already messaged Brendan again. I was very happy to go there. But
I'm sorry, interrupt. Before you get the offer, you already know about Malaysia League.
yes, yeah, I knew about Malaysian League. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I was well aware. But when the negotiation started, I just seemed to notice that they kept delaying certain things. So as soon as they knew that I had an offer from somewhere else, they would say, yeah, no, you got to do this, okay, just blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I would say no to that team, they would delay. And I started to think after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I thought, okay, what's happening here? And I called up, it was a coach from last season, Carsten Nitzel, from 2021. And I called him up, I said, Coach, I don't understand what's happening here because I'm doing the Selangor program, I'm running, I'm speaking to the strength and conditioning coach, I'm doing all these things, I'm looking at apartments, but I haven't signed this contract yet. I haven't signed this contract. We've agreed terms, we've agreed everything, but I have no paper in my hand, you know? And he says, oh, well, you know, because of this, because of that, we're planning on you being in Selangor too. Now, because I didn't know the league well enough to know that from 2 you could still play for 1, I thought, he did this to put me in the 2nd division. So I took offense. I thought, okay, he's done this to be sneaky, you know, to make sure I don't sign for anyone else, and he's going to put me in the 2nd team. So I said, oh, no, I'm not going to sign that. And he started to, I said, no, sorry, no, thank you. And I didn't really have a plan, but I just thought, he's trying to pull one over me, you know, he's trying to trick me. So yeah, last time, a lot of people on social media got angry at me. So I don't have any problem with Selangor. They're a great club with a lot of good players. But that was just, I was 27, just played Champions League, just played for Melbourne Victory. I know who I am. I know what I can do, you know, in every job. At the beginning, you're starting, you're working, you have to do extra, you have to try to show. But then it gets to a stage where you know who you are, you know what you can do, you know? So I wasn't willing to take that. And 3 days later, I get a call from Stanley and Boyan, and they say this whole story, you know, about this club that's gone through some tough times, and they're trying to create this project, and they have this plan, I had just this obsession with wanting to come to Kuala Lumpur, a place I had come so many times when I was younger. I loved it when I was younger, and you know, it just seemed like everything went perfect. It's exactly what I want. It's all in line, and I said yes, and that's how we got here.
I think when you moved to KL, I think half of the season, right? Last year, so you won the Malaysia Cup, and then this year until the final AFC, maybe the best move in your career.
I think so. If you're talking about, like for example, on transfer market, I have a statistician. So I pay this person who he watches my games, and he basically shows me what I'm doing well at, what I'm not doing well at, what I need to improve on. And if you compare my stats, my market value, my performances, my performance index, this is the most successful period of my career. So as much as, you know, playing at Tottenham and playing at Swansea is amazing, and I loved every part of it. But in the end, footballers want to play football. They want to feel wanted. They want to help, you know. They want to make their teammates feel like they can make them better. You want to be part of a successful story, you know? And I felt like I walked into this stadium that was hurting. It had a broken past, you know? It had these stories out there. If you Googled KL FA just before I came here, there was some headlines you wouldn't want up there. And then I got to watch those fans have smiles on their faces, be happy. We got to go to Bukit Jalil and win the Malaysia Cup against a club who smashes everybody, you know? And then to go to the AFC and be, correct me if I'm wrong, but the second Malaysian team ever to do it, have a runners-up medal, you know, it hangs on my wall, and I'm really grateful for that. So to be honest, I would definitely say not only the most successful, but definitely the happiest period of my career. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's the happiest. But I want you to be honest with us. At first, your first impression when you arrived at KL with the training facilities.
Because I say too many nice things. I know you want me to say something bad. Okay.
Honestly.
Honestly, there was no facilities. So it was a huge shock. I was lucky that I had spoken to some people who had kind of prepared me realistically what to do and what to be prepared for, sorry. But yeah, if I'm being honest, man, it was a shock. Like, for example, the grass here is different. So you start getting adapted to that. And then because it rains so often, the durability of the field is so different.
Yeah.
So one day you come and it's rock hard, then the next day you come and it's butter soft, you know? So that was strange. And then obviously KL didn't really have a training ground. So going to a public park, we had like shipping containers as change rooms.
That's near my house.
Yeah. So you know. So that was a big shock. But one thing that I can definitely say is that when I first came here, I spoke to Stanley Bernard at length, you know, for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he just had this idea, you know. When I spoke to Daniel Levy or Hugh Jenkins in England, it was a lot about business. You know, it's a lot about how do we spend 100 and make 200. That's a lot about how they think. Of course, they love football and they love their club, but it is a business, you know. And Stanley spoke like a fan. He spoke like someone who cared so much, you know. He spoke about his dream and that he used to be here and he used to play here and I used to stay over there and look at this and look at that. And when I came and I saw the training ground, I saw this, I knew that I had someone at the top that was going to try as hard as he could to make it better. So I had trust in that. I had faith in that, you know. And so I think that kind of rolled over any issues, any shocks that I had, because I knew, okay, maybe the water isn't, or maybe this isn't, or the table's not so, but I know that he's trying to do better. And then I was lucky that I had teammates that would help me. You know, I had Pablo Josue help me all the time, Akram helped me all the time, and then Kenny, Pativan, Ifan, you know, they would take me, they'd show me, hey, this is the best place to do, this is what to do here, hey, the way we do it is like this. So for example, the first day, I come with no change of clothes because I think that you have my training clothes. I said, no, you're supposed to have your training clothes, bring it, get changed, then train, then change back into your clothes. So if I come like this and then I drip in sweat and dirt and then I have to get back into this, it's stupid. So the boys would tell me, okay, what you do is come in active wear that you would wear because you're going to sweat after. And these little lessons, it was like, okay, we're all in this together. Okay, I understand. You just teach me what to do and I'll do it. So shock, yes, but fortunately they taught me what to do. They showed me the ropes and then I got used to it very quickly.
Just now you said about Stanley, right? Stanley is, to be honest, one of person that I respect the most lah. He got passion, honesty, and transparent with people, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if KL led by anyone else, not Stanley, do you think the situation is the same?
Or different?
I I think it's definitely different. I don't want to sound like I'm being too biased, but because also I see Stanley as a friend. He's helped me a lot off the field. You know, he was someone who was so important for me with my wife and getting settled, and his wife Sheila as well. She's been so beautiful for us. But I don't think it would be the same. I think I say in every interview, because I know footballers love to talk about themselves, like I just did, and also that you know, footballers always talk about the good things that they did. But other than my teammates, I always say Chaos City has Stanley, Boyan, and Nenad, and those three people are to credit for 50% of what has happened.
Wow.
And the team can take the other 50%. Of course, we're on the field, we do the performances, we win the games. But Stanley is at the front. He's the person who has to take on all the problems. He's the person who has to run around and do all the calls and do everything. He has to hear the complaints, and he has to hear this and he has to hear that. But you know that he's honest. He's trying his best for something that he loves. And for me, that's all I can ask for someone who's a CEO.
Maybe you already described Stanley. Maybe you can describe about Coach Boyan, because during the game he's very angry.
Yeah.
During the PC he's a very funny person.
Yeah, he's I think it surprised people that he's actually very funny.
Yeah,
You know? He's very, very funny. Him and Nenad are incredible, bro. Incredible. I can't say enough, especially for me, because they're both defenders, center backs. So they've taught me a lot. And you know, I'm someone who always wants to learn. I'm so annoying, bro. I ask 1,000 questions, but it's because I want to always be better. You know, I'm the kind of person that I play Saturday night, I'll rewatch my game, and Sunday I'll ask you about every single thing that I did that I don't like, or I did like, or why did this happen. And Boyan's very patient with me. He knows that I want to be better. He knows that I want to learn. And for me, he's so important. His character, for me, is also, it's perfect as a coach, because a lot of people outside of football, you guys know because you have football brains, but fans don't realize that as a footballer, you're going into this environment, 16, 17 years old. The coach becomes like your dad. A lot of the time you're away from home. Even in Malaysia, you move to a different city, or you move, for foreigners will move to a different country. So that person takes a big role, you know, from 16, 17, 18, your whole young adult life. You have this man who's your peer, you know? And Boyan has a perfect character for that, because on the field, he demands what he demands. You have to do what he wants you to do, and you have to do it as good as he wants you to do it. But as soon as you come off the field, he is your friend. He will help you, he will joke with you, he will tease you. And for me, that's perfect, because I say to him always, and now we're going on to our 3rd year, he knows me like he was my family. He knows me well, just like all my teammates. But he knows I will joke and laugh and tease everything. But as soon as I'm cross the line, I'm dead serious, and you tell me what you want me to do or whatever, and I will do it until I collapse. But then when we go off, we can joke again. We can talk again. We can be friends again. So for me, Boyan is perfect at that.
As a player, I believe you have a kind of game that you prefer to play lah, gameplay formation. But with Boyan in the AFC Cup, during match against Vettel, they are more defensive. Then
Mohon Bagan.
PSM Makassar, more offensive.
Yeah.
Then Mohon Bagan, possession football. So every time he changed the strategy, how easy for you to, how hard or how easy for you to adapt?
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, because it's credit to Boyan and Nenad as well. I don't want to take anything away from him. He's an amazing coach. Together they're ridiculous, but they have to obviously show you the plan, and they do a really good job on simplifying. So in football, because moments are so quick, you know, if I can make you know the job that just you have to do, and just you have to do, and just I have to do, then we can simplify instead of me thinking, I don't know, because he was there, maybe should I drop a little bit more? Whereas if I say to you, hey, whenever he's here, you come in. When you get the ball, you play there. And whenever they have the ball, you do it. You have 3 jobs, and that's all you have to think in your head. And Boyan and Nenad are very good at that. We simplify. Okay, this way we're holding the ball. Akam's going to come here, and everyone knows their jobs. So at that, tactically, he's very, very smart. But also, Boyan is very realistic. And so is Stanley. So it's very, very good for us who, once again, no offense, but we know we're not a big club. We know we're not a big paying club with a huge budget. We know that we can't financially compete with Terengganu. And then you want to compete with Viettel, ATK, Sogdiana. So when you're looking at the 11 side by side and you're saying, okay, maybe on paper, this guy's better, this guy's better, this guy's better, and this guy's better. The only way you can beat that is if we are all perfect together. That's the only thing that can beat that. Because if he gets frustrated and then he goes away, and he gets frustrated and he goes over there, but we stay perfect as a unit, the 11 beats the 1 every time. And that's where Boyan is very smart. Very, very, very smart. Because we got to Viettel, and Viettel are a very good team. The striker that me and Irfan were marking had scored 3 goals in 3 games. But then, he does nothing. Because the whole back line was moving, and Akram, who does so much work, was moving like a unit. Because we know, if I go 1v1, he will beat me. If I go 2v1, he's still mine. But if we go 5 and we don't break, he will not work. So that's where he gives us very realistic job. Same thing as Malaysia Cup. If we go out to Malaysia Cup final and he says, hey guys, you deserve to be here. You're just as good as them. Go out and play. We lose 6-0 for sure. But he says, realistically, guys, we're here because we're a good team. We're a hard-working team. But in the end, they have very good individual players. Very talented players. In almost all my interviews, I've even talked about, not the imports, talked about Arif Aiman, players that I think they could go overseas if they have talent. But how do you beat them? You have to be perfect as a unit. And that's where I think tactically is very, very smart.
Yeah, we also think Boyan did a very good job. Yeah,
That's a lot of challenge in Malaysia League. Like, so what's one of the challenge that you face maybe tough in the Malaysia League?
As a player, as a team, or just in general?
Maybe as a player.
As a player. Okay. I found the second year a lot tougher. Just because the first year I could tell that nobody thought we were going to be good. So, me and Daniel Ting used to have this joke all the time. We would joke a lot because we knew that players would come that had been scoring a lot of goals. We focus a lot on the attackers, of course. And we joke because me and Daniel used to play this game all the time where we would scream and we would shout about the simplest things. We'd win a header and head it out and we'd celebrate like we scored a goal,
Yeah.
And you would see these most of the time import players who were scoring goals, doing well, think, oh, I don't want this problem. These guys are too loud, too annoying, and they would start to quieten down. And that first year was a bit easier. I could tell a lot of the time we caught a team off guard. The second year, people knew who we were. People knew we were not an easy team. People knew the kind of style we would play. So I found that was a bit of a shock. I found that you couldn't break a player down as easy as you could in the first year, In the end, if you see statistically, if you see Bergson v KL City first year and Bergson v KL City the second year, he scores a lot more goals because in the first year, he doesn't expect us to do so well. So when I smack him a couple times, or if I smack him a couple times, he thinks this has come out of nowhere. But the second time, he knows what's coming. So I found that was a big challenge for us. And I think that's also why we had a lot of success in the AFC. Because I think in the AFC, people thought we were a small club that wasn't going to do well, that has a very small budget, and that would surprise a lot of teams. and you could see the way they play. Even against, even with ATK. ATK was so frustrated that they were dominating possession without scoring. We don't mind that. We love that. You want to hold the ball and do nothing? We don't care. We don't mind that kind of play. But the Malaysian league has started to learn that. So that was a bit of a shock for me in that second year, a tough challenge for me. When it comes to players, I've been very, very lucky that I have players around me that have helped me. So, I had some great attackers this year. Sherman, Bergson. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but a lot of good players. And when you have Akram, Ryan, Ifan, Zafri, all these people that are working, they're making your job easier because they're making the options less. So as much as a lot of these players, I watch them play against other teams and they are super duper deadly. I have to say that I'm very lucky that the team as a unit softens a lot of the difficulties. So there wasn't too much crazy trouble. But if I had to say that the toughest, it has to be obviously JDT.
JDT. So Lenvas, go.
Kau yang nak tanya.
Go.
He get controversial.
Go get controversial.
We know that after some issue right after final Piala Malaysia.
I know what this is about. Yeah.
So maybe you can share a bit
Yeah. No, actually, I'm glad you asked. It's not controversial. I'm glad you asked because you have a big platform here, and obviously I really like your page, and I love pages that support football and allow, especially local football. I wish Australia had a bit more of that. So I envy the page that you have. So I'm grateful you asked this question here, because anyone who is watching this video can tell my character. So they can tell that I joke a lot, but I wouldn't mean anything by it. So I'm watching the game and I just thought I would crack a funny joke, and then I went to bed. So went to bed, thought really nothing of it, and then woke up the next day and my phone had 400 million messages and notifications. People calling me, texting me, hey, you have to call me back. So obviously I deleted straight away. And then I get tagged in a comment by the Prince. So that was a bit of a shock. But it was only a shock because obviously I admire and I congratulate Johor a lot. Even when they play Champions League, I'm one of the biggest supporters for them on social media, and I comment on all the players' pages, and I was just a bit surprised that it got taken the way it got taken. Beautifully, I was really, really lucky because I know social media could go another way, but I'm not super famous. But for the first time in my life, I had maybe 500 messages from people I don't know that actually were saying nice things to me. So I was very, very grateful because I know that it could have gone another way.
Yeah.
So I was very, very lucky. Even fans, a lot of them fans from other teams were saying, don't worry, and da-da-da-da. But, and I hope that in his spare time he watches, but I hope the Prince knows I didn't mean anything by it at all. I'm obviously a huge supporter of their team and their quality, but it's strange because it's a situation that I'm unfamiliar with. Because if this was any other person on earth, I would just call that person and say, hey, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean ever to offend you, But unfortunately, and it's a royal person, so it's not a very easy person to be able to speak to. But I commented back straight away. I hope that they understood I was sincere, and I hope I think everybody knows that I didn't mean anything by it. But yeah, I've definitely never felt that famous before in my life.
Okay. One more question. Honestly.
Okay. Controversial or?
Not really.
Okay.
Do you feel disappointed when Daniel Ting choose to leave?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a hard situation. Like, you asked me a question off camera about teams, and I said something to you, which I'm not going to say on camera, but no, but footballers, it is their job, and unfortunately, like a lot of players who maybe go to Johor from other teams are doing well, and then maybe they don't play or they don't have as much game time. In the end, the quality, the status of the team, and money is a motivator for people. Of course,
Yeah.
If I told people that I play for one of the clubs that has the smallest budget, to most people they would think that's the wrong decision. But maybe my values are somewhere else. My values are that my teammates are like my brothers, that my wife is happy, that me and my coach have a good relationship, me and my CEO have a good relationship, me and my fan base have a good relationship. I'm on here with you guys who could interview anybody in the league, and you're interviewing me. I'm very grateful for that. But that's because of the person I am at KL. That doesn't come with a huge wage like it could somewhere else, So Daniel is doing something for his career, which is 99% of people would say is right. I'm disappointed because I miss him.
Yeah.
He was my roommate. We loved to play together. I still speak to him now a lot and try to convince him every day to come back. But I wasn't disappointed. He has to do what he has to do. He wants to play for the best team in the country. I completely understand that. But yeah, just like when you work with somebody every day, of course, I wish we could have worked the whole time I was here, but I understand.
It's like our friend who want to leave.
Maybe a bit difficult because after Daniel Ting left and you only have Nabil, right? Your pure young defender, but also get injured during 2022. Don't have a pure left back, right?
Yeah.
So maybe tough for you. Sometimes it's fun to play at the left. Declan also.
Like Declan's a right back.
Yeah.
Signed to be a right back, and then literally never played one game right back. And great attitude, Declan. That's why I was really happy. I hope that he gets more and more time in the national team because he's a very, very good player with a very, very good brain. He wants to work hard. He wants to improve. So I was grateful that it worked and it worked well. But it was a bit of a panic because I think we all expected Daniel to come back. We were all just kind of waiting. This person's going to play or this person's going to play, but it's Daniel's spot. So then when that didn't happen, I can understand from the CEO to the coach that maybe it wasn't something they calculated for. And then the bill comes and then the bill gets injured, So I think things happen for a reason. And in the end, Declan went in there, got better and better every game, got to play for his country, an honor that, 0.01% of footballers get to do, So happy for him that happened, but it was a confusing time.
Yeah, for this season, you're losing Daniel Ting, but for next season, you're about to lose Irfan Zakaria, your partner. What's gonna happen, you think?
Yeah, I think it's if you spend too much time with me, you leave. I think I'm a curse. I need to watch out who I sit next to. No, I actually just saw him yesterday. He come to see my baby. He come to my house. Me and Irfan are very close. I remember telling him something. We played something like 47 games together, and we managed to keep like 23 or 22 clean sheets or something. Me and him, we worked really well together, And he's a great guy off the field, great man, great player. For me, obviously, I'm biased, but he's my favorite centre back in Malaysia. I think he's so talented, great on the ball, good reader of the games, fast, and I'm sad he's going. He's going to be a hard player to replace, but in the end, he has an opportunity again to play AFC, which is going to be huge, and I will be watching every game and supporting him because he's a good man, good player, and I hope that going to Sabah he can play, show everybody what he can do, and get back in the national team because I really, I'm gonna miss him. But I think he's a very, very good player.
Gigi, I want to play some simple game with you. Yeah.
Okay.
I say a few names and you briefly say what do you feel about this name.
Okay.
Okay. First, Zafria here.
Oof. Amazing player, unbelievable engine. When he moved from centre mid to right wing, changed his whole career for me. So, excellent.
Mendoza.
My gosh. Brick wall, consistent every game, great attitude, wants to work hard every day, good guy, has saved us 1,000 times. No one would think I'm as good of a defender if it wasn't for him because he's saved my butt a couple times. So excellent keeper.
Arif Aiman.
Good player, very, very good player. Even though he says something on Twitter. But like I always say, very good player, very good player. I think he's a kind of player that if he went overseas, he would be able to make a career because he's got good technique, he's got good feet, good attitude, but he's very fast, very, very, very fast. And in the end, even if you are Maldini, if I'm faster than you, you can't catch me. So speed is very important, and I would love to see him try his luck overseas because I think he's probably Malaysia's #1 young talent.
Faisal Halim.
Yeah, good. Mickey's. I met him the first time we played against Terengganu, and he's such a funny guy, man. Such a funny guy. I don't think anybody could say, any player would say a bad thing about him. And then he comes onto the field and he'll do anything to win, you know? But I love him. He's doing so well for the national team. I'm so happy for him. The other day when he scored that goal with the outside of his foot was incredible. But excellent. I know now he's gone to Selangor. So I'm curious to see. I hope that they make him the main man, you know? Because I think he deserves it. He deserves to have the spotlight on him. And I hope that he can take that and with the national team as well, really, really show as much as he can do.
Kenny Paul Raj.
Oh, my brother. Kenny Paul Raj is 110% heart.
Oh.
If he had a broken leg, a broken neck, and a broken shoulder, he would still say he could play. He's a fighter every single minute, sometimes too much. I try to calm him down. Sometimes, can he have a water, relax? But he's a great man. Great man. He's someone who you always want in your team, because no matter what challenge, we could be 4-0 down, and Kenny will still believe we can win. And that's a really, really powerful person. He'll never put his head down. He works really, really hard. He'll always fight for you. So he, for me, is probably one of the main reasons our change room has so much resilience.
Wow. Okay, last one. Hakimi Azim.
Ooh, yeah, man. Hakim is my boy. He's good. He's good, man. I'm on his case a lot. I'm on his case a lot because I want him to be the best version of himself. I really do. Hakimi has a lot of talent. So much talent, man.
Even physical, very good.
Yeah, he's got a lot of natural gifts, and he's good, and he's a nice boy. He's got a nice smile, and he could be a superstar. He really could. He really, really could, man. I'm sure if he was here, he would tell you I scream at him a lot, but I scream at him because I want him to be the best player that he can be. I keep him after training a lot. I want him to improve. But he has a huge future ahead of him.
Last one.
Oh, you pun last.
Captain, Mr. Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, Mr. Kuala Lumpur.
I think he's a nice guy.
Yes, he's a very, very nice guy. I owe a lot to him, to be honest. Off the field, he helped me a lot. He guided me a lot. And, as a foreigner here, as someone who, as much as I love to act like I'm Malaysian, I'm not. He guided me. He helped me. He showed me where to go, what to do, what to expect. And, in the end, whenever it's been the big moment, Paulo's always pulled us through. So there's been a lot of times where we've depended on his goal or his assist, especially as a team who is very defensive, and we don't necessarily have the budget to buy a lot of very offensive players, attacking players. We put a lot of the responsibility on him. A lot of the responsibility on him. And excellent guy, excellent player, and excellent captain.
Satu lagi lah lupa. Party bird. Party bird.
Patiman. Oh, do you want to just? I'll say the whole team. Patiman for me is another one like Kenny. Where I'm very close to him. I felt this year it was a shame he had a chronic groin problem. So he just, for anyone who's played football, you know that when you have a reoccurring fatigue issue, you have no time to fix it. So you're always playing 70%, 80%, 60%, depending on how you woke up that day. And then you can't miss training, because if you miss training, you can't play. So I feel bad for him this year. He worked very hard and he never got to have 1-2 months where he was 100%, bam, 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 and you could see. So unfortunately for Patiman, he had to sacrifice a lot of things. But very professional guy, very hardworking guy. And we've been talking a lot, Kenny, and Pati have been working a lot in the off season, so I'm hoping to see him rip this next year.
Lama panjang.
We talk a lot, but we're not finished yet.
Let's
talk about Australia.
Last part.
Because about before the World Cup started, you voiced out your opinion that Malaysian level of league is higher than Australian.
Yep.
You made it to AFC final.
Yep.
So, did you feel disappointed when your name are not chosen by the coach? How disappointed you are?
Yeah,